We're going to talk about digestion and how the gut actually works through the digestive process. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with what we do with food. When we first enter food into our body, we have the first stage of digestion called mastication. And what mastication is you chopping down the food to break it apart, and you have these salivary glands that produce enzymes like amylase and lipase that break down sugars and fats, right? So then this food substance becomes what we call bolus. And this bolus is basically chewed up food with enzymes and all these digestive juices around it. That's why your mother's always told you, chew your food, please son or daughter, chew your food. I do it all the time. I preach to my sons. Oh my God. My oldest son, Malik, whoo, man, the food's right there and in 2 seconds it's gone. He loses his first stage of digestion. That's why he feels like all tired and bloated afterwards. Anyways, oh my Lord, Malik. Now the bolus goes down the esophagus into the stomach, and that's where the stomach produces acids like hydrochloric acid. And that hydrochloric acid shoots all over the food, and what it does is it breaks it down into more of a liquid gel form called chyme. Now that liquid gel form substance of our food also has other type of digestive juices and enzymes in there. And then that goes down into the first part of the small intestine called the duodenum, and that's where the liver produces bile to break down fats. The pancreas produces all these other enzymes and digestive juices to further break down the food into a biological form of nutrients that we can absorb, like the proteins and the carbs and the fat. They break down all the way into these simpler forms like amino acids and simple sugars and such. So now the food goes down into the small intestine, and once it goes in there, then you have these different type of microorganisms that help us with the digestion process. And these microorganisms are really interesting. But what we're gonna do, they're so complicated and there's so many different types that we're just gonna talk about 2 primary types that really control the environment in our gut. So the first one, I'm gonna label it gorillas. And gorillas, the bacteria that represent these gorillas, like the characteristics of gorillas, they love fiber. And then we have another type of microorganism or gut microbiome that are represented in like a lion. They represent lions. Very similar because they love proteins. They love proteins and saturated fats. What's interesting about these type of microbiome is they're very representative of what's predominant in the American diet. So we eat a lot of animal proteins and we eat a lot of saturated fat. So that's why we tend to colonize more lions inside of our gut. Here's the problem. If you got too many lions in any one ecosystem, they devour all the animals. When you devour all the animals, you collapse the ecosystem, very much like the human body. If you get too much animal protein, you support these damn lions and you're just eating away at your gut. The mucus lining gets permeated, the gut lining gets attacked. I mean, there's nothing to protect your gut. That's why people have all this inflammation, all these problems. Now, the object of the game is to diversify this ecosystem, right? We need more microbiome that are like gorillas. Well, what do gorillas do? They live in the jungle. They protect that jungle because they're very territorial, right? And they eat a lot of fiber. So here's the deal. They have to eat all day long these fibrous, sugar-filled foods, and it's crazy what they eat. They eat just pounds of this stuff. But that's what keeps them going, the ecosystem that helps protect the bacteria on their skin, the foods that help protect all their immune system through their gut. Now, here's the deal. If we don't have enough fiber inside the gut, we have this breakdown, but if we can incorporate more of these gorilla-like bacteria by supporting this environment. Now I know probiotics are very, very popular right now, and there's a big science behind it, and I appreciate it. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter how much probiotics you put inside your gut, because probiotics are basically representations of these gorillas. But no matter how much probiotics you put in, if you don't have the ecosystem, they can't survive. So think about this. And the reason why I know is because from experience, I know based upon how my body responds to that, right? Now look, if you take a gorilla outside of the jungle and throw that gorilla, boom, in New York City, you block off Central Park so it has no ecosystem to work off of, what happens to that gorilla? Well, the first 4 hours, it could do some damage. It's kind of the way you guys depend on probiotics. Temporary. But the next thing that happens is the ecosystem is not there, so they start starving. You take a 400-pound animal with that much power, after 4 hours, it's pretty much useless, and it's going to start starving. And if you can't feed it, it's going to start dying right away. That's a high-performance animal. Now, here's the problem. If the ecosystem isn't there, even the gut bacteria, or the bacteria around their body is being stressed. They're going to die quickly. So now, this is what it's like in my gut. I eat a high fiber diet because I want to support those gorillas, because I want to protect my intestines so that I can get high nutrition without feeling like crap. You get energy. Why? Because these gorillas live inside the tissue, they're the protectors of your tissue, and now your intestines can actually develop a nice thick mucus lining, so that it creates a barrier from these lions from over attacking. Now you're creating balance in that ecosystem. You get higher digestion of nutrients that are essential to support the stresses in our lives, including the physical demands that we put on ourselves. That's why if once you understand digestion and how it actually works and how you can actually support the ecosystems in your gut to get that digestion, you're going to experience energy, vitality, health. And you know what? In some of these places in the world where these people are living long periods, they're finding out that they're taking in high levels of fiber in their diet. So that's why their immune systems are so strong and they can live through the test of time and have vitality. So we created a product called EcoGut. Anthony, what's it called?
EcoGut.
Damn. I like the way he said that. It's like a 80s cartoon. EcoGut. EcoGut. So anyways, we got this product called EcoGut, and it has all these fibers that are inside of our food that we need to eat. Well, here's the problem. In America, we villainize our food. So we say this is bad, and we really don't understand food very well because, you know, of course, we all know that there's a breakdown in our family structures. And when you break down family structures, then all of a sudden these traditions don't get passed on. And these traditions are what made our society survive, right, and have vitality. Because I think every society wants vitality, so they learn ways of achieving that through centuries and time, right? So they have time to observe what works and what doesn't. So that's why I really believe in the whole concept of these ancient food pyramids. Now, this EcoGut has all those foods in the food pyramids, but it also has a lot less of the calories because it's primarily the fibers. And basically you could take this EcoGut and it's going to cover all your different soluble fibers like gelatinous fibers, beta-glucan fibers, all these different type of fibers in that world. And then you have your insoluble fibers, and in that world you have all your prebiotic fibers and all these different type of fibers that help with the digestive process. So now you have all these different type of fibers in there, and you also have food that the gorillas can survive off of so that they can really colonize this area. And so EcoGut is my solution to you guys on how to bring these important foods back into your diet slowly, and hopefully get you guys to understand about total nutrition through these ancient food pyramids that were very successful, and they are still successful to this day. When you see some of these people come from these native areas and they're eating their original food chain, they're unbelievable in their health. Their skin looks good, their vitality is very high. I just think, you know, it's all about intelligent design. You know, I think that there is a God, and this God created this complicated system that is so intelligent. I mean, if you don't believe in intelligent design, that's going to take a lot of faith to believe in that. Because who created all this? It's all so complicated, and all these organisms live together, and they have to coincide properly. That's why I believe in intelligent design, because the closer we get to eating the food that's from the ground, the healthier it seems that you get. It's so crazy. The less science food I eat, the stronger I get, the healthier I get. I wake up in the morning and I feel happy, and I have bad circumstances. It's crazy. You can think better. You don't get overtaken by depression and anger. That's why it all starts from ego gut.